Well, there we go, Paul. We are live once again. So we've got Mr. Paul Thorpe live from somewhere very, very exotic in Spain, and Mr. Richard Inman live from somewhere very, very exotic in Northern Ireland. And I tell you what, Paul, my tan is nearly as good as yours at the minute, mate.
Oh, Richard, listen, it's never going to happen because I'll make sure I get out there and top up.
I think you're using the fake stuff, mate. I'm telling you, nobody gets that tan that quick. You know what I mean?
How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been swimming in the sea is my happy place. It keeps me sane in the madness of life. And the good thing about the sea in Northern Ireland, it's still cold enough to make you feel alive when you get in it. If you survive getting in it, that's the main thing.
That's no great white sharks, though, eh?
No great. Well, not in, there's plenty of great white sharks outside the water, not in the water.
Yeah.
In this game we're in, Paul, there's a lot of sharks about, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
But you know what? I've got some really good harpoons. So anyway, what's been happening, Paul? Fill me in. What's been happening? Then we'll get into what the subject tonight. What you've been up to?
Well, I've got 3 days to myself. Mrs. T's flown back to the UK to see the grandchildren that's left over there. So whilst the cat's away, I've got the place to myself, and I'm having a big party in half an hour.
Fantastic, mate.
No,
bring on the dancing girls.
Just in case she's watching, I'm only joking. I'm just about to take the dog for a walk.
That's it, and that'll be Horlicks in an early night. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
Nowhere near the strip in Benidorm, not at all.
No. Of course not. Of course not.
Oh, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Well, just to bring everyone up to date, me and Tommy were on with the police today about the 13th of September. It's going to be absolutely superb. I mean, it's, the plans that we've got, and again, I can't give any of it away. I'm not going to give any of it away, but just a teaser. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So do not miss it. And somehow, somewhere, and all my channel people know this, Tommy keeps playing this amazing song. I don't know who wrote it. It's called "Where Are the Men of England?" He just keeps posting it and posting it and posting it. And unfortunately, the author of the song doesn't get any commission from it because there's nowhere to sell the thing. But, the Men of England, it's my song. It's great. So it was all good. And what else are we talking about? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this thing that the Conservative Party's been up to. Paul, what's going on with this? I mean, I honestly think that this could be the biggest political story of our lifetime. And I genuinely think that it could completely kill off the Conservative Party. I think it could absolutely destroy them.
Well, Richard, you'd think so, wouldn't you? You would think so. I mean, when you look at what's happened and you look at the enormity of it, and to think that has been kept deliberately with a super injunction from the British public, it's absolutely outrageous. But we know the British public. We know how tolerant they are. We know how they like to bury their heads in the sand. I'm not talking about our audience tonight or our audience in general. They're all awake. But, it's like the story with a schoolgirl this week. I mean, really and truly, every single parent in the UK should have been sending their kids to school with a Union Jack badge or something, anything, just to say, up yours, this is our country. But they don't, do they? They're just...
Nope. And the vile Narinder Kerr started attacking that wee child and her father. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. That woman, Narinder Kerr, in fact, I don't even like mentioning her name because I think she only does it for likes and clicks.
I've never heard of her.
Oh, well, you don't want it. Don't even go looking for her.
Never. I wouldn't even give the woman any credit. So I've never heard of her.
She's a despicable woman. But no, she's a race baiter and she's always at this sort of stuff. But no, I think getting back to the story, there's a lot of people have serious questions to answer about this. Not just in the Conservative Party, in the Labour Party, because they kept the thing going, and they would have, if the advice they got from this guy that went and did the review, this guy called Rimmer. The last guy I saw called Rimmer was that robot in the, what was that thing that used to be on? You know the one I'm talking about, Paul, don't you?
Bit of an apt name, isn't it, Rimmer?
Yeah, Rimmer. Yeah, exactly. So Mr. Rimmer, he said that they're all safe. And, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, Paul, it's going to sound really bad. I don't care. I honestly do not care about the people on that list because you know why? I care far more about the people in our country. The people on that list, they weren't interpreters, they weren't ex-military. There's 100 that were ex-military and interpreters on the whole list. Yeah, bring them if you have to. But even that, they got well paid for people in Afghanistan. It wasn't our fault that the country fell. It was down to America.
Yeah.
So what responsibility do we have to spend up to £7 billion?
I think for me, I'm a little bit more, what's the right word?
Compassionate.
If you want to use that word, right? I mean, look, for me, every case is different, right? Now, if there are cases where individual Afghans save the lives of British troops, then I would say they deserve our help. But there's very few of them, Richard. You're probably talking about 20, 30, 50, maybe.
You see, do you know what that is, Paul? That's, it's hard cases make bad law, and this is what the media are very good at. So that you can guarantee the media will be scouring that list, looking for that hero, looking for that woman that's in really, really difficult circumstances because of the oppression of the Taliban, etc. But let's look at the stats, right? Pew Research, 2013. A survey was carried out in loads of Islamic countries. In Afghanistan in 2013, now you've got to remember, this is when the coalition were supposedly in charge of Afghanistan, right? So there was no coercion from the Taliban when people were taking these polls. And the polling said that 98% of people in Afghanistan wanted Sharia law, right? Now, as far as we know, 10,000 Afghans at least have come to this country. Some people say it's 18,000, some people say it's 10,000. Let's go the lower, right? So if 10,000 people have come to our country from Afghanistan, that means 9,800 of them statistically believe Sharia law is the best governance for any country. Now, to me, that's a massive red flag. And then if you look at the abuse rates, and again, we're not going to use the SA rates, let's just say, because we know we're on YouTube and we don't want to get our channels vaporized. But the SA rates among Afghan migrants are off the chart. And then you look at the issue of the dancing boys of Kandahar, or the Afghan dancing boys. And these are little teenage kids that get taken by older Afghan men. And again, we know what happens to them, right? So there's cultural things within Afghanistan. And then you look at you always see these pictures from time to time in the Daily Mail or whatever of a little 9-year-old bride getting married to a 53-year-old man.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is Afghanistan, right? So why in the hell are we bringing tens of thousands of people into our country who do not share our culture, do not share our faith, do not share our way of life, and in fact are diametrically opposed to it? Now, here's the thing, Paul, right? I'm not against saving people's lives. I'm not that callous, right? But you know what? There's a big country next to Afghanistan called Pakistan, right? Which shares exactly the same culture and exactly the same religion. And you know what? They won't take them.
No, of course not.
They're booting them out.
No, I mean, I think the bigger question here, Richard, is how did it? Well, we know why it happened, right? But a big question for me is why was it kept from the public? That's the big question for me. The damage has been done. Whoever's come has come. The big question for me is what are they going to do about it now going forward, and why was it kept from the public?
Well, let's just think about it from for what actually has happened, right? So we know there's between 10 and 18,000 come to the country already. Many of these got dependents that they're going to try and get into the country as well, right? So that's going to happen. So they're going to try and bring their families in. And I would say
they're talking about 150,000 possibly.
Think about that. Think about that. Are you seriously telling me that 150,000 with 98% of them wanting Sharia law, you're not going to get the odd Jihadi John in there, the odd Salman Abayadi, right? You really think that we're not going to get that? Of course we're going to get that.
Well, unfortunately, statistics tell us that that's probably very likely.
Exactly. So I'm sorry. If I was in government, if I just come into government, I would be scrutinizing every single one of those applications. I'd be finding out exactly who they are, doing full background checks on them, interviewing them, and anybody who shouldn't be here would be getting returned. And I think that's the big picture here, Paul, because if you've got potentially 100,000 people come to your country, and some of them could be malevolent, you want to get those bad apples out of it. And if the bad apples make up 98% of the people, then 98% go back. It's as simple as that. Now,
the truth of the matter is, though, Richard, the way things are right now, I don't see any one of them being sent back.
No, this is the point, Paul.
Not a single one.
This is the whole point of this. This is the whole point of this. But what you asked was the most pertinent question of all. Why was this slapped with a super injunction? And who pushed for that? And it's amazing the way all the government ministers are pointing at each other. Ben Wallace, oh, well, I just asked for injunction. Don't know where the super injunction idea came from. Wasn't me, Governor. Yeah. So they're all denying everything, right? And Ben Wallace has got the neck to say that he still thinks it was a good idea.
Mm. And I'm just looking at some of the chat. I mean, Steve Greenwood says, wait until they bring 1 million in from Gaza. I mean, this is the way that I think that Labour plan on winning the next general election, along with voting for 16-year-olds.
Yep. Exactly. Well, there's definitely something in that, Paul. I mean, but why do you think they're rushing all these passport applications through? Not even applications. These illegals that are coming in now, they're getting rushed through the system, and that's an even bigger scandal than this. And that's signed off on by the Labour government. So to me, if anybody is in this chat, right, and you're thinking about voting Conservative, I want you to think about this. Jenrick's going to be the next leader of the Conservative Party, right? I ran some stats before we came on here, right? Jenrick, during his tenure, he was immigration minister, I think, for about a year and a half max, right? During his tenure, 2.4 million migrants came into this country. 2.4 million.
Is that a year? Do you know what, Richard? That's an amazing stat. That's absolutely correct, is it?
Absolutely correct. 100%. And not only that, 79,000 illegals came into the country at the same time, right? So, if anybody thinks that Jenrick's going to be a good leader of the Conservative Party, I don't believe him. And he claims that he didn't know anything about this until after the super injunction was signed, and then he couldn't say anything about it. Well, there's two things on that. First of all, I'm not going to call him a liar because I don't have all the facts. But it really is stretching credulity to think that he knew nothing about this. He's the immigration minister. How could he have known nothing about it?
Mm.
I mean, was his department hiding this from him? So
you wouldn't think so, would you?
You wouldn't think so. Now, again, unless there's a smoking gun, unless somebody says, no, I handed him a piece of paper with the information on it. But are we really thinking that when they were in White's Gentleman Club, or whether they all go for the cigars and cognac after they've had a hard day in Whitehall, that Ben Wallace didn't come up to Robert and say, hey, Bob, what are we going to do about all these these Afghan people that we've got on this list? And he said, don't worry about it, we'll sort it. I just don't believe. I just find it too hard to believe, Paul.
Yeah, I agree. And the truth of the matter is, I think there's a lot of Tories now looking over their shoulders at what's coming down the line. They all know, everyone knows what's coming, right? Everyone knows that the worm is slowly turning, and they're now worried. That's why some of them are jumping ship and going over to reform. So if you want another Tory-like party, vote reform, because they ain't going to be any better, in my humble opinion. The grassroots membership it's lions being led by donkeys for me.
The only one that I'm surprised at, to be honest with you, and she hasn't said what she knew and when she knew it, is Suella Braverman. Because again, if you believe Suella's rhetoric, then she would be against this. But I think the situation is this, right? What Jenrick said was, well, once the super injunction was in place, even parliamentary privilege wouldn't have protected him, right? Well, my message to Robert Jenrick is take a leaf out of Tommy Robinson's book. Because I can tell you, if Tommy Robinson was the immigration minister, he would have said, you can stick your injunction where the sun doesn't shine. I'm going public with this tomorrow morning. And here's the rub, Paul. Even if he says he found out after the super injunction was in place, right? That's his get out of jail free card. I think you would have blown the whistle on it, Paul, I think I would have blown the whistle. What you're going to get as a government minister? Do you really think they're going to send a government minister to prison
No, of course not.
for breaking a super injunction? Not in a million years. That was in the national interest. So anybody that didn't have the balls to break that super injunction is just an out and out coward. And if you're using that, Robert, as a smokescreen and a get out of jail free card, it's not going to wash. As the 2.4 million people that came in on your watch isn't going to wash, as the 79,000 illegals that came on your watch isn't going to wash. So all, the Conservative Party putting their hope in Robert Jenrick because he's this great right winger doesn't wash for me. We remember what you did with Stephen Farry when you said you were going to set the security services on us for doing demos outside migrant hotels. You said that on the floor of Parliament. So to me, Jenrick is a phony, and anybody trusting him,
the whole Tory party now, it's all smoke and mirrors.
It's all smoke and mirrors. They are not what they're professing to be. And then you think about the Boris wave as well, and goodness knows, I haven't done the stats on that, but goodness knows how many millions came in that 1 year. I think it was 2020 or 2021. There was millions came in with the Boris wave because they panicked.
When you think about it, Richard, look how we've been stitched up as a nation. For years, we voted for the Tories to keep Labour out, and on the promise of controlling migration and legal immigration. And instead of getting what we voted for, they gave us precisely the opposite. Precisely the opposite.
Exactly. And this is the problem, Paul. So, so that's to me, this, whatever happens now, the Conservative Party's finished. The Conservative Party is going to get absolutely decimated. It'd be interesting to see what opinion polling says in a couple of months.
Well, I certainly hope so, Richard. But as I said right at the top, I have very little confidence in the British public.
Yeah.
Very little, I'm afraid. I hate to say it, but I mean, look, I tell you now, I'm out here in Spain, as you know. There's been some minor issues in Spain this week. And I tell you now, the Spanish people, the Spanish police, and the Spanish government, which is a left-wing government, by the way, they ain't having none of it.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
They ain't having none of it, mate. And
the
Spanish are 30, 35 years behind us in the UK.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And Paul, it's the same in Northern Ireland. Believe you me, the people of Northern Ireland are not going to put up with this. People in Northern Ireland are not going to allow our country to be taken over by Abdul from the Hindu Kush. It ain't going to happen. It is not going to happen. I mean, if you look at what happened to Ballymena, so the authorities need to realise. And do you know what they've got a policy of? And I got this from someone who is involved in Parliament in a big way. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to give away who it was. And this gentleman told me that what the policy is in Northern Ireland is what they call normalisation. I said, what does that mean? He says they close the hotels and they put them in social housing. And I says, okay, and where do they go on the list? He says they go to the top of the list. So if you're watching this in Northern Ireland, right, and you're thinking, great, the hotels are closing. No, because what they're going to do is they're going to covertly put them into your estates, put them into your areas. They're going to be putting them up. They're going to be pushing the rental prices through the roof, like's happened right the way throughout the UK, so that your kids and your grandkids can't get on the property ladder and can't even get to rent a house.
Yeah.
And this is how serious this is. Quite apart from them, wanting to take little Danny off and do bad things to him, or little Sarah and do bad things to them. Quite apart from all that and the threat of terrorism, purely from an economic point of view, they're going to the top of the queue in housing. They're going to the top of the queue in healthcare. Can't get a dental appointment. That's because Asif just took your dental appointment. Let's just get it right, Paul. This is, and if we don't start calling this out properly and telling the truth, we're just as bad as the government and everybody else. We've got to go, do you know what? No matter the cost, we're going to tell the truth about this and tell the people what's really going on.
I think one of the problems that I have with it, Richard, is these people, they're not the doctors, the dentists, the nurses, the architects. These people are not the people that we're told they are. We're sold the point that immigration is a good thing, and in many instances it can be. I mean, the last time I went to a hospital in the UK, probably, I don't know, 70% of the staff were non-Indigenous Brits.
Yeah.
So, yes, you know, there's a plus side to it, but these people are not the people that we need. You know, honestly, I've never had a massive problem with immigration per se. It's the people that they allow to emigrate or immigrate is the problem.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want anyone coming through. I don't care what colour they are or where they come from. I don't want bad people invited into our home.
Yeah.
No matter what they look like. We got
Yeah.
enough of our own bad people. We don't need anyone else's.
Exactly. And this is the problem, Paul. So I mean, I think the Conservative Party are going to get skewered over there. I think the Labour Party are going to get skewered over when it becomes apparent what they've done with the rushing through of citizenship for people in hotels. Again,
Yeah.
that's another story. It hasn't broken yet, but
This is all coming. Yeah.
we know this is happening, right? So the Labour Party are just, you know, it's all right, the Prime Minister blaming the Conservatives for this deal. Would he have done anything different? Absolutely not. In fact, he'd have probably jailed anyone that even mentioned in cabinet that they were going to break the super injunction.
Yeah.
Old flipping, you know, Keir Starlin. So the truth of the matter is that the Labour Party kept this going for nearly a year until they got advice, professional advice. Because you see, none of these ministers can make decisions on their own, Paul, without advice from an expert.
Yeah.
You know, they need, because they've got no balls. Because if Keir Starmer had said, you know what, I'm just scrapping that. You imagine Trump. Trump would have come and said, nah, we're not doing that anymore. We're stopping that scheme. We're saving the money. Send them all back. That's it. Done. That would have been Trump, right? But no, Keir Starmer keeps it going until he gets expert advice to cover his arse because he's a legalist. He's a little lawyer boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
So the Labour Party are still guilty. They're just not as guilty as the Conservative Party, right? So then we go into reform and Mohammed Zia Youssef attacking Jenrick. I have no problem with that. I'm not a fan of Jenrick either. But going after Suella Braverman. Now, I don't know what's... And Suella's the one that troubles me, Paul, because I don't know what she knew and what she didn't know, right? But if she knew about this, she is culpable without a shadow of a doubt. And I think we need to hear the truth from Suella Braverman. But the way the Bravermans have been treated by Mohammed Zia Youssef, basically Raoul Braverman, Suella's husband, left the party, I think, yesterday or the day before, obviously, because he knew that his wife was going to be attacked by the Axeman, you know, from Sri Lanka. He knew that was going to happen, right? So I don't blame them saying we want nothing to do with reform anymore, but they've probably lost one of the best operators that they could have got in the party.
So look, Richard, we can talk all night about the wrongs, right?
Mm.
What I'm more interested in these days is how we put it right.
Well, we know, Paul.
Now, let's get on to it.
Yeah, we know. Well, I mean, it's simple, isn't it? There's a man that we know quite well. There's a man that we know very well. And there's lots of other really good men out there as well. So I think we've got 3 or 4 strands in this, right? Ben Habib, to me, is a man of integrity, principle. He's never, you know, we've known him, about a year, Paul? About a year, something like that,
Just
isn't it?
over, yeah. Just over,
yeah. And he's a man of the highest level of integrity. He's a man that is not up his own backside. He's not looking down as. Do you know? I saw a post. I'm gonna call this out. I can't look. Oh yeah, Harrison Pitt. Right, Harrison Pitt put a post on Twitter. Right, he's become a fellow at Restore. Right, Restore Britain or whatever you call it. Right, and he said, "Great, we're building a new elite. We're building a new elite." Wow. I thought, wow, you're really reading the room, Harrison, because we really need a new elite.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, do you know what? I want to put my hand out to the people. No, he's an academic. He's got more degrees than the thermometer, and he's part of the new elite. Yeah. I have a problem with that, Paul. I'm not attacking Restore. I'm not attacking Restore.
No, but Richard, this is what I said in
Harrison,
my video.
He's about 5 years old, right? He looks about 5 years old. Maybe he's 25. I don't know. And he's pontificating about how he's part of the new elite.
New elite.
Son, take a seat, all right? Just sit down. Get in the queue, all right? Do you know what I mean?
This is what I was saying in a video the other day, Richard, when I said I was a little bit disappointed with Rupert.
Yeah.
That he hadn't been able to, you know, get together with Ben in the respect that, look, I don't want to go down the route of criticising Rupert in any way because I like his message
I do too,
and I respect him as a man.
Him at all.
But You're absolutely right. We don't need another elite.
No, that wasn't an attack on
That
Rupert.
is how we've got to where we are today.
I'm not attacking Rupert. What I'm doing is I'm attacking people around him that are saying things like that.
Yeah.
If somebody said that in advance, and I'm just a lowly member of advance, but if somebody said that in advance, I'd be calling them out as well. I'd be saying, get off your high horse, go and talk to the people. Don't talk about being an elite.
Yeah.
You jumped up little whatever, right? So that's my point. My point is what we need is a party of the people, for the people, by the people. And that's what you've got in advance. That's what you got. So if we've got the pledge on the screen here, Paul, you asked what the solution is. Okay. You see, the other thing is, I think what we've got to be very careful of, we're all excited about advance. I'm excited about advance. Advance has basically took the clothing of the pledge, put it on, and turned it into a political party. It's what it's done.
Yeah.
It's everything that Ben believed when he signed the pledge is part of Advance UK, right? So what we've got is an ideological framework that's already made, it's already written, it's already bedded in. We've already got 50,000 people who've signed, 60,000 people who've signed it. So we've got loads of people on the pledge, right? And they all believe everything Ben believes, and Ben believes everything they believe. So we've got ideological coherence straight away. I don't have a clue what Restore stand for, and I'm not having a go at them. I'm not having a go.
Well, they've lost the plot, haven't they? Let's be honest, they've lost the plot.
Sorry, Reform. I said Restore.
Reform.
Reform.
Yeah,
Reform. Yeah. Reform. Yeah, I don't have a clue what Reform stands for. Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, just before the general election, they pretty much, things were going really well. They had pretty much most of us on side. We were all voting for them. I know that you were never a fan, but you still, you went along with it, right? Blah, blah, blah. And they've just gone from like what a lot of people thought was going to be the answer to our prayers to being just another part of the uni party. It's now the tri-party. Farage has gone more liberal than bloody the Lib Dems. Richard Tice, he's just someone that you just can't relate to the man. How can you relate to someone? I mean, can you imagine me and you going down the pub on a Friday night with Richard Tice?
Yeah.
We're not going to have a lot in common. But here's the difference with Ben. With Ben. Ben comes from a completely different background to us.
Yeah.
But he fits in. He fits in with everyone.
Exactly.
And I love that.
That's exactly right. And I mean, I'd love to see some of these Tories, some of these ex-Tories. I'd love to see them basically coming on board and jumping in with Ben and with Advance. Rebellious J, it's kicking off Epping, Essex right now. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, look, do you know the thing about it is, right? I absolutely understand how people are so angry with that rabble called Hope Not Hate and the little Antifa thugs that wrap themselves around them. They are the most disgusting. These are the people that have pushed for this open borders. These are the open border fanatics. So if anyone's wondering why people are angry with them, now I'm not condoning violence, but if anyone's wondering why they're angry with Hope Not Hate, with Stand Up to Racism, with the Socialist Workers' Party and all these other scumbags, communists who are trying to destroy our country, I don't blame them being angry, right? And it's righteous anger.
Why would you, this is the question for me, why would you travel from halfway across the country to attend an event where people are complaining about the assault of children? Why would you do that? What motive could you have?
Well, if you want a good kick-in, it's probably a good thing to go and do. Maybe they've got some sort of masochistic thing going on. They want to be slapped by a big, burly, 50-year-old bald man. You know what I mean?
But seriously, though, Richard, what on earth could be in someone's makeup to travel to support child molesters?
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And when they're doing that, here's the thing, right? People are angry, right, Paul? And you know that part of England as well as I do, right? There's some really tasty people up there, and I'm not talking about good looking. There's people that can really handle themselves up there, right? And they are not happy. They were pushed out of the East End of London. Let's get it right. It was white flight. They were pushed out of the East End of London because of the demographic change, right? And the East End is now more like Karachi than it is like the East End in the 1940s and the 1950s, right? And those people have muscle memory of that, right? And they're living in Essex. They've built nice lives. They've done well for themselves. Businessmen, all sorts of people, down there, and they're seeing this coming into their areas, and they don't want it. And then let's get it right. What's happened there, Paul? some wee girl has been indecently assaulted by someone from that hotel. Yeah. That's a fact. That's not, no one's disputing that. That has happened, right? And you look at what happened in Ballymena when that happened. So those scumbags from Hope Not Hate, or not Hope Not Hate, sorry, it's just more or less the same thing. Those scumbags from Stand Up to Racism going down there, it's deliberately provocative. And what the police should have done, they should have arrested them all. Don't have to charge them, like they used to do with us, where they'd surround a pub and nick everyone in the pub and take them to ferry them to police stations.
Later.
Yeah. They don't, you know, and this is the problem. This is the problem that we're facing at the minute. And nobody is listening to the British people, and nobody cares what the British people want and what they need. And it's sickening, Paul. It's absolutely sickening. And like I say, I'm not, you know, I don't want, you know, I don't want anyone getting hurt. I don't want anyone getting arrested and going to prison. But I don't blame the people being angry, Paul.
I don't blame them for being angry. But my appeal to them would be, please behave. Don't get yourself into trouble, because you know what will happen. We don't want any more of our people being arrested and ended up in jail.
No, we don't want anyone in jail, but I'm not making those appeals anymore, Paul, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not my place to do it. You know, if people do what they're going to do, it's none of my business. I'm just not going to make those appeals. Simple as that.
I mean, that's fair enough, Richard, and I respect that, but I don't want to see families being torn apart.
I know, mate. I know. And
I don't want to see dads being taken away from their babies, mate.
Absolutely, I agree, 100%. I agree. And this is what's wrong with the country, where people, good, hard-working, salt-of-the-earth men, are taken to the streets on on Thursday night, right? When they should be doing stuff with their wives and kids. They should be going to the pub. They should be going out for a meal. They should be doing whatever. No, but because of the state of the country, they're having to stand on a dusty road in Essex outside a hotel and face down a whole lot of communists who want to open the borders even more and just let everybody in, you know. And we've got a king.
I'll tell you what, Richard.
Do you know I'm angry tonight, Paul? You can probably tell.
Oh no, look, listen, Richard. We're all angry and we're all frustrated. But listen, one thing that we must all remember is that when these migrants have been moved out of these hotels, we must make sure that those hotels never, ever, ever get any business ever again. Those hotels should be boycotted. They should be remembered, and no one should spend a goddamn penny in a single one of those hotels. Now, there are two hotels that were very, very close to where I used to live. Very close. Magnificent hotels. I used to stall out there at antique fairs. You couldn't find a more quintessential British hotel if you tried. That hotel must now rot.
Absolutely.
Through a lack of activity and the lack of customers. And when the hotels are empty again, I hope that everyone takes this up and makes it their business to ensure that these businesses are remembered for what they did and for the money that they took, and which is basically leading to many of the problems that we have in our country.
Well, what we're going to do, Paul, I mean, we're going to continue we do a protest outside a migrant hotel every single week in my town. Apparently it's going to close. We've been told that for the past 2 years. Apparently it's going to close soon, and it's going to go back to being a hotel. Well, when that happens, our protests will continue, and we will be handing out leaflets within the vicinity of that hotel, reminding everybody what they done, what it cost, and what the threat is to our children and our grandchildren and our wives. And that's, do that up and down the country. In fact, do more hotel protests when these scumbags that have took the shilling decide to reopen, because there's people made millions out of this, Paul. And it's the same with the landlords. I mean, again, probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. Up in Ballymena, I heard there was a meeting with the landlords of the houses that had been smashed up, that had this mafia. There was basically a Bulgarian, Romanian mafia operating in the town, causing all sorts of havoc, indecent assault on children, drug dealing, weapons dealing. It's horrendous, right? So these houses got smashed up, and the landlords had a meeting with some men from the area, and they said to the men from the area, says, can we fix our houses up? And the men from the area said, of course you can fix your houses up, but if you put those scumbags in those houses again, you'll have to fix them again and again and again. And I don't like that, Paul, right? But here's the thing. I totally understand it. And what's happened is the authorities have left the people of this country in a situation where Ballymena has to happen for something to get done. Epping has to happen for something to get done. And what people will suddenly realize is that might is right. In other words, the men that can put the most boots on the ground win. And that's actually a doctrine in policing. They just call it numbers. Whoever has the biggest numbers wins. And that is a very, very scary thing for the United Kingdom. But that's where we're heading, Paul. And that's why we need massive political change. Let's get back to reform. Mohammed Zia Yusuf is not the change that we need. I don't like that man. It's nothing to do with him being a Muslim. It's nothing to do with his religion. He is a snake of a man. The way he's knifed people like Suella Braverman, and like I say, nobody knows exactly what's happened with Suella, right? The way he's knifed Rupert Lowe. Rupert is a perfectly good, ethical, honest businessman. Far more successful than Zia Yusuf will ever be, right? Chairman of a football club. And Yusuf was willing to let that... Now, this is the other scandal about reform. Zia Yusuf was willing to let Rupert Lowe go to prison. Yeah?
It's shocking, isn't it?
A 67-year-old man. And let's get it right.
Shocking.
Threats to kill. What are you going to get? 5 years minimum behind the door? Yeah? So we've got massive problems in the Labour Party, the Lib Dems, the Conservative Party, and reform, right? So that leaves us one option. And I'm not attacking UKIP. I know a lot of people in the chat love UKIP. But with all the best will in the world, UKIP alone cannot win the next general election.
Yeah.
But I tell you something, Paul, see with the right prevailing winds, and if everything fell into place, Ben Habib and the Advance Party could win the next general election.
Look, Richard, it's a big call, it's a big ask, but I do believe you're right. It is a possibility.
But there's a possibility, and no disrespect to UKIP. The discussions I had with UKIP, with the chairman and other people in UKIP, they know they're not going to win the next election, right? They're planning for maybe 10 years' time, right? And that's fine. Nick's a young man, if he stays there, whatever, right? But they're not going to do this one. So why doesn't every party on the right get behind, every party that's not reformed, get behind Advance?
Ben,
Why don't the disgruntled Tories come across to Ben? Why don't the disgruntled reformers? Because there's plenty of them.
Why? You know why, Richard? Because these career politicians don't see anything in it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, like I said to the viewers the other day, I don't really care who wins as long as it's us. Right.
But you see, Reform and the Tory party aren't us. That's the problem.
No, but UKIP, Reform, UKIP, Advance UK, Rupert and Restore.
Yeah.
I don't mind as long as it's us.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, for God's sake, let's all of us get together.
That's the key.
Us lot. Let's get together. Key, Paul.
Now, I'll tell you what I would like to see, Paul. So we've got Tommy, right? So let's look at all the moving parts of this machine, right? So we've got Tommy, right, who is getting, and I'm not saying anything that isn't publicly out there. Tommy has had a difficult time since he came out of prison, readjusting, right? No doubt about it, right? But he was on the court, he was at his game, he was great, he was positive, so Tommy has a massive part to play in this, right? Always has, right? He's not the only person who has a part to play, but he has a massive part. The Unite the Kingdom movement has massive potential to grow and grow and grow as a cultural movement. So Tommy's a massive piece in the jigsaw, right? Probably the biggest piece, to be brutally honest with you, for the British working class, right? I think he could mobilize 8 million to start voting. That would win a general election.
Can I just say, I don't know who's mobbing tonight, but there's one or two people that need kicking out there. Anyone that's modding tonight, Jack Knife is one of them.
Right. Okay. We'll have a look at them. I'll see if I think the girls are modding tonight. So certainly.
Actually, I can do it myself.
Yeah, you can, can't you? Was he on yours? Was he on your channel? All right.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not on yours.
Yeah, just ban him. Yeah, have you got rid of him? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got rid of him.
Because if he's on yours, I won't be able to bin him. I can only bin ones that are on mine. So
yeah.
But I mean, I'll just Jack Knife been banned. Good stuff. Great. Yeah, we don't want any wrong-uns, because at the end of the day, look, we're trying to have a decent debate. We're giving up our time to try and bring people information that's going to encourage them. So we don't want any scumbags coming in and attacking people. So don't come on our channels and do that. Well,
here's the thing, Richard. The comment that was just made. I believe that person is not on our side.
No, absolutely be a lefty.
They're not on our side.
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said, but
I'm not going to repeat it.
No,
But at the end of the day, they're
yeah,
gone.
gone. That's exactly it. Yeah, and that's what we've got to do. Zero tolerance on anyone that's acting up. But so we've got the Unite the Kingdom movement, right? You mobilize every single one of those people to vote. We've got the pledge. Let's say we've got mailing lists of 60,000 people, right? That's a fairly substantial chunk of people. Now, you're not going to win an election with that, but what you can do, see when we've got things like we've got going on at the minute with the Islamophobia thing, people can, all of those 50,000, 60,000 can be writing to their MPs and saying, we need something done about this, because we know geographically where everybody is, because we've got everyone's postcode, so we know where everyone is. So we can just say, right, guys, write to your local MP. In fact, it doesn't matter whether we know where they are. Just say it, say to them all, write to your local MP, and get this sorted out. So,
Richard, can we get some of the chat up? There's some good. I'm
sorry
if anyone thinks I'm not watching, or looking at you, I am.
Tell me what you want. Which ones do you want, Paul?
Well, there's so much interesting stuff. Gary Ford there. Oh, okay, let's do this one. Ben said he would speak on September the 13th.
Yep.
Tommy's got to get him on stage. I really hope that's going to happen. Gary Ford. Ben cannot save our country, not radical enough. We need extreme policies on immigration. I'll be voting UKIP. The trouble is, Gary, look, I'm not going to argue with you, Gary. I think we do need someone that's radical. But the problem is that, as I said the other night, doesn't matter how much you like Nick, he's not electable. Exactly. And that's the problem. I go back to a silly football analogy. Look, I love my football club, but would I want to be the manager? No, because they'd go down.
Yep.
Right. So I wouldn't want the job. I wouldn't take the job because I'm not the right man for the job. The players are not going to respond to me. And unfortunately, it doesn't really matter how much you like or respect Nick. Do you honestly see him being elected? Exactly. You have to ask yourself that.
Exactly.
And I hate saying that because Nick's Nick. He does what he does, and I admire in many ways some of the things that he does and says. There are certain things that I don't quite go along with, but he's a good guy. He's on our side, right? So we just got to be realistic. Ben stands a chance.
I mean, the thing is, if I see something in advance I don't like, and that's why I'm not looking for any position in advance or anything like that, because if I see something in advance I don't like, I'm going to speak about it. Now, when I was in UKIP, it's very difficult for me to speak about stuff that I didn't like because I felt a loyalty to the team, and I sort of bit my lip and I was a bit mealy-mouthed and didn't really say anything too much about anything. But if I saw something in advance I didn't like, I'm only a member. I'll call it out publicly. Yeah. And it's the same. And looking at UKIP now, I'll call it out. I like, as a person, I like Nick, right? And he's dedicated and he's going for it. But like Paul says, I just don't believe for a minute that UKIP are going to win the next general election. Now, it might seem crazy saying I think Advance can, because they're not registered with the Electoral Commission yet. They're building up to this 30,000 before they do that. But from what I know from the background, they're getting there very, very. They're doing a very good job.
I'll tell you something as well. The way they are building this party is truly immense.
It's incredible.
Is utterly immense.
Exactly.
Now, here's the other thing as well. I believe that Reform are going to crash and burn completely. Where are all those people going to go when they become politically homeless?
Sorry, but I'm laughing. Show up. I was worried UKIP would deport me if they got in power. That's why you spent some time with Nick Tenconi last week, Sean. That's what that photograph was about, mate. I get it. You could be right. You never know where those boys show up. You know what I mean? But Advance
we've been there, mate. We've been there. We wouldn't let you go.
We've got your back.
Danny's in the chat as well. Evening, Danny in Spain. Lovely to see you, mate. I mean, look, where are those? This is the thing. Yes, right now, Ben's chances of advance are slim.
Yeah,
it gives us hope.
Well,
when reform crash and burn, and they're a plane that's on the way down. They're on the way down. They're getting lower and lower and lower and lower. When that plane eventually crashes and burns, where are all those people going to go? Where are they going to go back to the Tories? Is that what we want?
Yeah, I mean,
they're not going to go to UKIP.
Nope, They're not. They're not. And I mean, I think the thing is what Ben's doing and what Rupert's doing as well. I mean, look, Ben and Rupert, it's almost like a pincer movement. And maybe there is a cunning plan behind it all that we don't know about. Maybe Ben and Rupert have actually made a pact that they're not talking about. But the reality is there's a pincer movement going on there. And what we mustn't do, and I think this is really important, we mustn't put any clear water between Ben and Rupert. We need to encourage them to keep supporting each other, keep looking out for each other. And Ben's done that fantastic. I must say, I haven't heard Rupert do it, right? But I've heard Ben do it. Ben has joined Restore. He's not said anything negative about Rupert, and Rupert hasn't said anything negative about Ben either. They just disagree on whether a new party is necessary. Now, what can't happen, and this really can't happen, is Restore becomes a political party. Because if that happened, that would show massive bad faith.
That would be a problem.
That would be a massive, massive problem. And that can't happen. And if it did happen, the gloves would be off. I'm telling you now.
You see, this is why I kind of disagree with Rupert about a new party not being needed. Look, unless we could take over reform with our people,
it's not possible.
Then, you know, we have to have a party that can do the job.
Yep.
Mark, look, reform full of Conservatives.
It is.
And Lib Dems and former Labour.
It's absolutely
and whilst they were kicking out good, solid grassroots members.
Exactly, because it's not just Ben and Rupert that have been shafted by Farage and Mohammed. It's loads of other people. There's loads of other people.
They shafted all of us. They shafted. Yeah. How many people voted from the last election? Was it 4 million?
4 million, yeah.
They shafted 4 million people.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't let them shaft you again.
No.
Those 4 million people, please sign up and join Advance UK today. So 10 quid.
This is the dream. This is the dream, right? You know, this is the Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream pitch, right? So you've got Ben. Advance builds up. He gets up to, you know, it's 30,000 in short order. Very soon he's knocking on 100,000. That's a very, very serious operation, right? And meanwhile, over here, Rupert's doing his thing. And Rupert's building policy. You know, Harrison Pitt can be part of the elite if he wants to be. If he's got some good ideas, great, you can be the elite. And then we've got Tommy with the street movement. We've got the pledge with the ideology behind everything. We've got a spiritual movement as well, where there's a lot of people getting interested in Christianity. And if you're into genuine Christianity, you can only come from a conservative background, or else you're making a mockery of the whole thing. So the whole thing is coming together to a critical mass. And the thing about the pledge and conservative Christianity, it is a restraint on going down the road of extremism. Now, one of the things I was worried about, and this is something that we need to find out, is are Restore in bed with the Homeland Party? I really want to know that. If anyone in the comments knows anything about that, there was some guy who I don't really have a lot of time for. In fact, I don't have any time for, because he's attacked me numerous occasions. But some guy put a video up last week, and he's in the know on that sort of stuff. And he said that Charlie Downs had basically reached out to the Homeland Party, and there was talks between the Homeland Party and the Restore movement. Now, the Homeland Party is an offshoot of BNP. I think possibly PA, but I could be wrong about that. So if I'm overshooting the mark on that one, I apologize. But definitely ex-BNP people who have the BNP ideology at heart are involved in the Homeland Party, right? And it is an ethno-nat party. That's a given, right? So from that point of view, how far does Restore's coalition spread? Would they allow people from Patriotic Alternative, Homeland Party, BNP, if it still exists, Britain First? I mean, where do they draw the line in terms of letting the extremes in? And that would be a worry, because, again, there's a lot of these young, very well-spoken lads involved in Restore. But how much do they really know about what's going on? They're full of enthusiasm, but do they really know what people like the Homeland Party, Patriot Alternative, and the BNP stand for? Because I'll never stand with those people. Those people are not my friends. You know, when they start looking at people's skin color, and like we've always said, Paul, not what's in your heart, what color your skin pigmentation is, I'm out. That's
look, Richard. Anyone out there watching this right now that thinks in their mind that one day that the United Kingdom is going to be made up of 99.9% white people are living in a dream world. It's never going to happen.
Well, I think the figure that the Homeland Party put on it was 85%.
Yeah,
that's what they want.
It's never going to happen. Get it out of your mind.
This is not about race. This is about culture, and
Yeah.
it's about there's a problem. There's a big problem with one specific culture in our country. And again, because of Paul's respect to Paul's channel, I say it if it's just my own channel. I'm not going to say it on your channel, Paul. But because of one culture and one demographic, that's what's caused us all the problems. And yeah,
we have to, like I said, I've said it from the day I first started doing this. The key to success is uniting, and we do have to win the middle ground. As unpalatable as that sounds, as unpalatable as it seems, and as painful as it is to have to negotiate and debate and hold your tongue with people who just don't quite get it, we need their votes and their support.
exactly.
Perfect example there. I just want 99% good people.
That's what we all want.
Amen to that.
That's what we all want, Paul.
And
Paul, we've said that from the I said that from the beginning in 2017. And again, I got a lot of flack for it. I got a lot of flack for saying, because like in 2017, when we started doing this, people were saying, oh, you've got to lock up everybody that's saying, dodgy stuff, whether they're far right or far left or Islamist. And I went, no, you've got to actually debate them and win the debates. You don't just lock people up because you disagree with them. And now, of course, we flipped. And this is the next big thing. I mean, let's talk a bit about the Islamophobia debate that's going on in Parliament at the minute, and this group of advisors, the Wise Council that Dominic Grieve has got under him. Every single one of them is a believing Muslim. Every single person in that group.
We better have this discussion quick, Richard, because very soon it might be illegal.
Well, this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing, Paul. And again, what I would encourage everybody to do, if you haven't watched my video that I did this morning, get onto my channels, either Richard Inman or the Counter Media one, and watch the video I did this morning. The links to the consultation are in that video, and you've got until Sunday to actually get that done. And it takes 10 minutes maximum. It took me 5 minutes, and I'm really dumb at that sort of stuff. So, it doesn't take long to do it, right? So get onto that, and what you can do, you can give an opinion, but you'll see the way that consultation is put together, Paul. It's loaded. The dice are loaded on that. We are going to get legislation that's going to make it illegal to critique a religion. Now that is absolutely
blasphemy law.
It's taken us. It's worse than that, Paul. It's taken us back to the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
This is what happened in the Reformation, and people were burned at the stake for having the wrong opinion about Roman Catholicism. So. It must be opposed, and I think this is a massive freedom of speech issue. And again, if you don't know what's going on with it, check it out. Go on to Christian Concern, go on to the Free Speech Union, go on to the National Secular Society website, go on to Nick Timothy's page. It's all there. It's all there. But so
can I just for a second? Can I just go back to the chat a minute, because
of course
it's your show tonight, so I've been looking at the chat a lot.
Yeah.
Susan Monday says UKIP Nick will be brilliant reaching the youth for the advance party.
Yeah.
Nick, if you're watching this, brother, I know how much you love your country. Think about your future. You're a young man. You've got years, God willing, you've got years and years and years ahead of you in the world of politics. Think long term, Nick. Think long term for you as an individual. Yes, it's great to have ambitions, but sometimes you have to be a bit cunning.
Exactly.
Especially in politics.
Exactly. Now, again, I don't know how many people have signed up to advance, but
I'm not privy to that either.
No, I know. What I do know is when I was chatting to people, and they were telling me what their membership number was, and this was like middle of last week. It was way through 10,000. I think there was some people were telling me there were like 11,000 on the membership list, right? And that was last week. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know, and I'm not going to ask the question because it's not my business. Because again, I'm not in leadership in the party. I'm just a foot soldier. But I would say, like guessing, if it was like 12,000 or whatever it was last week, it's going to be, as much. I don't know. It's just
Listen,
speculation.
Richard,
Really,
one of the things a lot of people always say to me is, what can we do to help?
Yeah. That's what you can do.
Now, what you can do to help tonight is, if you haven't already joined Advance UK, please do so. But here's what you can do. Become a campaigner. Become a family campaigner. Get your family and your friends and the people down the pub, educate them. Get them to spend their tenner and join Advance UK. That's what you can do.
Yeah.
That job is just as important as a job that Richard does, that I do, that anyone else does. You can be a foot soldier yourself. You can genuinely help the cause. So there it is.
I agree, Paul. And I would say, guys, listen, I know loads of people that watch me and Paul and Jeff Taylor have signed the pledge, right? Tens of thousands. My thing's very simple. If you sign the pledge, sign up to Reform and pay a tenner. Sorry, Reform. No. Shut up,
No.
Richard. Advance.
Quick,
Rewind that.
Richard,
That's
whenever you go live, you
Yeah.
know that's a danger. Now, you know someone's going to crop
Oh, that's going to be clipped. That's going to be clipped. No, I self-corrected. So if they try and do it, I'll be there going, no. I'm going to go and wash my mouth out with TCP after this. No. Join Advance. If you sign the pledge, join Advance UK. Don't join Reform. If you're in Reform, join Advance UK as well. Oh my goodness! I tell you what, it's so easy to do, Paul, isn't it? How many times has that happened? But
can I just read this one? Watling Boy, together declaration, Sean laser messages on the Parliament, and number 10. Where is it? It's gone. Hold on a sec. You see, all these good organisations that are on our side.
Is that it there? Together declaration.
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all those people over at the Together Declaration,
what are you doing?
Please.
Yeah.
Join Ben and Advance.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There's my friend, Reverend Brett Murphy. Do you know what? He's got to be the pastor for this mood. Do you see the stream he did with me the other night, Paul? Mate, he is an absolute legend. And he likes to drink whiskey as well. He's my sort of pastor.
Brett, when me time comes, I want you doing the honours. Is that all right?
Well, listen, you need to get right before your time comes, Paul. Do you know what I mean? You need to talk to the Reverend before your time comes, not after, mate. It's too late then. You know what I mean? Oh, brilliant! Listen, who's that's just joined a political party? Annie, I think you said you joined Advance. Brilliant. You see, this is what
done, Annie. Well done.
People who've never been. My wife joined Advance.
Yeah.
First day. So Alan was 12,109, and he joined on July the 10th. So what are we on now? That's 7 days ago. I don't know. I haven't checked, and I'm not going to check because it's not my business.
What we need to do is, what is the challenge, guys? Here's the challenge. Let's put this as like a heartfelt plea.
Yeah.
Ben Habib is the man that will reach out to the people. He will listen to the people. He respects the people. Let's get him to that 30,000.
Yes.
Let's show him the love
that
he's shown us.
Exactly.
And not only that, Ben, you got to understand, Ben doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
He feels that he has to.
It's a calling on his life.
It's a calling.
Yeah. You know, it's a calling on his life. There goes Angela Regan. It only costs a tenner to join Advance. Now, I know you meant no-brainer. It's a no-trainer, but it's not even half a trainer. It's not even laces for a trainer. Do you know what I mean? So, Reformed, cons. Yeah, well, that's the best. That's absolutely right. The Reform Party are the Conservative Party. They're just wearing a different colour rosette, just a slightly different colour blue.
Yeah. This is what people have got to understand is the Tories have done, the Labour Party's done, and what they've brought along is a new party that is basically going to sit somewhere in the middle of those two. They're no good to us.
No.
They are not going to deliver what we need, ever.
No, they're not. Look at all these people.
Done, Tina.
Look at all these people that's actually joined Advance already.
Brilliant.
You know, it's absolutely fantastic. I gave you a sideways eye roll at the booper. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I spoke to Ben earlier, only by text, and the video that I put out earlier about the guy that got caught at that got pulled at customs again, right?
Yeah.
Ben was straight on that. He's straight on it. He wants to know what it's all about. He wants the story. He wants the background. He's on it because he cares.
Exactly.
Can you imagine any other politician getting in contact with us saying, what's this about this guy? I need to know.
Not at all. Not at all. And Ian, you're just saying he's the best chance. Ian, what you got? And I'm not being patronised when I say this, but I know Farage because I've dealt with UKIP since 2017. I saw what he did to Jared Batten. I saw what he said about Tommy. I saw what he said about us lot back then. I saw what Richard Ty said. You've got to understand, Ian, I'm not being patronising, mate, but these people are not what they seem. They're not what they seem. And even if he gets in, nothing's going to change. Because you can tell by his rhetoric, he is a uni party man, and he will not deal with the elephant in the room that we can't mention. He won't deal with it. I'll tell you that here and now.
I get what Ian's saying. I totally get what you're saying, Ian, but I do agree with Richard. The problem with reform is unless we can get rid of the hierarchy, reform ain't taking us anywhere.
No, they're not.
Please spend a tenner. Bet a tenner.
Yeah.
Do you love our country enough to spend a tenner on reform?
I mean,
I've just done it now. Do you love your country enough to spend a tenner?
Advance.
Join Advance.
But do you know what we're going to have to say after we come off this call, Paul? We're going to have to just say advance for an hour. But doesn't that sound good? Advance. I like that. It's like fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a great name. Advance. You're pushing forward to something. Yeah. You're pushing on. You're not retreating. You're advancing. It's a great name. Nick Timothy. I mean, Nick Timothy. Oh, I'd love to see him come across.
Evening, Sharon.
Love to see him come to
one of our loyal regulars. Love to you, Sharon. Nice to see you there.
Yep. Okay, what have we got here in the chats? What's this? What are you lot on about? Advance will win. No MPs. Reformers are only hope. Ben's a narcissist traitor, putting petty grievances above country. Well, Craig, you've got your right to your opinion. I'm going to say it. It's my show and it's my channel. You're completely wrong, but I'm not. But that's all I'm going to say. The reality is.
Can I deal with that after you?
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. You do it, Paul. You go.
Craig, here's the thing, mate. Here's the thing. You like, again, we're all on the same side, brother, right? But look, right now, if there was an election tomorrow, you're probably right. You're probably right. In fact, you are right, Craig. But there's 4 years to a general election. Reform are unveiling themselves to this nation every day. Every day they're being unveiled for what they really are. It's like a bad toffee apple. The wrapper is slowly coming away. And as that wrapper is being unpeeled, you can see that what's inside it is rotten. Now, here's the thing, Craig, right, is that as that apple is revealed, what we need is all those good people, and you could probably be, well, one of them. We need those people to move away from that bad apple and into this beautiful new creature that is Advance UK, full of people that are upfront, honest, a lot of ex-reform people. Advance is now our political home.
Yeah.
So right now, maybe you're right. You are right. But in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, by the time reform have finished eating themselves, then it could all be a lot different. Because make no mistake, Craig, every single person that voted reform last time and that will vote reform next time is a potential Advance UK voter. Every single one of them.
Totally. And I think the thing about advances, because reform is not actually, when you sign up to reform, you're a subscriber. You're not actually a member of the party. In other words, you don't have any voting rights. You can't change anything. Ben said very openly, if you're a member of reform, you're not really a member, so you can join Advance anyway. So you can actually hedge your bets. I mean, I'm not a gambling man. It's never been my thing, but I know there's something called hedging your bets. And that's what you can do with Advance and reform. You can actually be in both. You can actually, and that means that, you can then decide, can't you? You don't have to tell anyone you're in both, but Ben said very openly, if you're in reform, you're not actually a proper member. you're a subscriber that's paid whatever you've paid. And of course, the thing is, it seems like the advance mailing list is dropping like a thermometer on a Belfast January day. You know what I mean? So, Bob Hunter, don't we create the Jesus? Why don't we create the Jesus party and back ourselves with the love of God? Jesus is the only party I'll be signing up for. This is Bob. I totally agree. It's a spiritual battle, but we're in the world, and we've got to be in the world and not of the world. So we've got to work with what we've got in terms of politics. I mean, it's like having a job. You don't go to your job and say you've got to call this business the Jesus business. You do your work, and you do your work to your best ability. It's the same in politics. I think what's happened with a lot of people, Christians, they've totally disengaged from politics. And I don't think that's, in fact, I know that's not what God wants. God wants us to be engaged in politics. He wants us to be salt and light, and he wants us to be changing everything. There's another Martin, reform or nothing. Again, we've dealt with that, Martin. We're not, and listen, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to insult people that are still saying they're back in reform.
No,
right?
nor am I.
Because
No,
I have so many good, I have some really good friends like Noel and Steve and plenty of other people in reform who are really good lads. Steve Beattie, I've known him for years. Big shout out to him. He's an absolute legend. He's been massively supportive of UKIP, of For Britain. He's in reform at the minute. He's a very, very good lad. I'm not going to slag off people that are in reform,
no, absolutely not.
I believe that what we're putting in place with Advance, and I say we, I mean I'm just a lowly member, but what we're actually doing with Advance will make the change that we need to save the country. Because if we don't, what's happening in Epping tonight seems like absolute, I haven't seen the footage because obviously we're doing this, but I'm going to go and watch it when we get off. It seems to be horrific if what they're saying is true and people have been run over by a police vehicle. Now, it doesn't take too many incidents like that and you've got a tipping point and the country's on fire. And what we're trying to do is give a political way out of this, because I've lived through a country being on fire and I don't want to live through that again. And that's all I'm going to say. So we've got to try this with Advance, because in my heart of hearts, I know reform's not the answer, and I know UKIP ain't going to win the election as well. So I know those two things. The only show that's going to win this is Advance, and I want everyone to get behind. I want people in reform to get behind Advance. I want people in UKIP to get behind Advance, including the leadership. And I've said that to them. I want everybody to join Advance. I want Rupert Lowe to get behind Advance.
Let's hedge our bets.
Yeah. Let's hedge our bets.
Let's hedge our bets. And there are a lot of angry people out there, Richard.
Yeah.
But this is another reason why Ben's party is so important. It gives people hope.
Yeah.
And it keeps them away from doing crazy stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just laughing at that comment there, Paul. Richard and Paul, you need to get a sign saying Advance put on top of your computers. So that we don't keep saying the R word.
Dear.
We need to get a reform box where every time we say reform in a positive light, we've got to put a tenner in it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone said I look miserable tonight. No, I'll tell you what it is. I'm reading the comments as Richard's speaking.
That would make anybody miserable, Paul.
Oh, mate. I'm reading the comments, and I'd just like to see what people are saying. Yeah, that's why. Right, so tomorrow night, Richard, we're back. The boys are back in town.
Absolutely.
The Three Amigos.
The Three Amigos. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I might even crack open a beer, Paul, tomorrow night just to celebrate. Been on with you and Danny, because when the banter gets going, it always flows a lot better when we've had a couple of scoops. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Danny's in Tenerife tomorrow. So
he did that before from Tenerife, didn't he? That was when he was sitting in a hotel lobby or something, wasn't it, or a hallway? Do you remember?
What's the betting? I'll tell you what. I'll have a tenner with you. The first thing that he says is, "What's my audio like?" I'll bet you.
yeah. Or what's my hair like?
No, he won't say that.
Oh no, it's going to be good. Listen, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be
tomorrow night, guys. Put a date in your diary.
Yep.
Me, Richard, and Danny, we're back together tomorrow night. 9 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. for me. So a bit of a late one for me.
You're well able for it, Paul.
My background. What can you see in my background? Can you see my TV in the background there?
There's something green. There's a light that's like keeps going different colours. So that's really.
Yes.
It looks like you're at the BBC, mate. It looks like you're sitting at the BBC. I
Don't
know.
say
I know.
that.
Okay. I was going to say Sky News, GB News. No, I can't say any of that, can I?
No,
It looks like you're in a professional film studio, mate.
Yeah,
It
there
looks
you
really
go.
swanky.
There you
You know
go.
what
I'm
I
a pro. Anyone watching, I'm a pro.
mean? He's a pro.
If you believe that, you believe anything.
We're good at bluffing, Paul. That's for sure. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
mate, I tell you
But
what.
right, guys, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to close this off because I've got another meeting to go on to at 9 o'clock. Really important meeting now. So, Paul, just summarise
Yes.
where we're at. Where are we at now with the Tories, with reform, with everything that's going on? What's your take on everything that's happening?
Well, it's very simple, but the problem is we're preaching to the converted. Forget the Tories. Labour is not even a consideration.
Yep.
Forget the Tories. Forget Labour. Forget the Lib Dems. Forget the Greens. They're all a complete and utter waste of time singing off firstly the same song sheet.
Yep.
Reform, if you want to support reform, that's your prerogative. But please join Advance as well. You can do that. Join Advance UK as well. And wait. Hedge your bets. Wait and see what happens. Because believe me when I tell you, reform are going to crash and burn. Because look at what's gone on in the last 6 months. 2 MPs down. They can't even keep their MPs. 2 MPs down. They've had the police called in by their own people. You've got the leader saying that migration is no longer important to him. What are you thinking? There is only one option, and now is our time. Ben has given you the hope that you want. Ben has given you the hope that people have a go at me for because I didn't give them enough hope. Well, so here it is. Grab it with both hands.
I couldn't have said it better, Paul. I mean, I think the Tories are finished. I still think Jenrick's got questions to answer on this. He was immigration minister when all this went on. I don't think it washes that he
Let's get it right, Richard. Let's get this right. We have been absolutely and utterly betrayed.
Totally
betrayed. Totally.
Yeah,
with a capital B.
Yeah, totally.
We've been betrayed.
Totally.
And the way that you can pay these people back is by joining the right party and by putting the right cross in the box. Don't forget what they've done to us. Never forget what they've done to us. Never forget the way they've rubbed our forefathers that fought and died for our country. They've rubbed their noses in it.
Exactly. And I think the thing is, Paul, we're only getting one shot at this. I mean, literally, our country's future is at stake. If we get this wrong, if I thought I was wrong about Advance, right, I wouldn't come on. Just like the pledge, I keep pushing the pledge because I absolutely believe in the pledge. When I was in UKIP, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I would have said, because there was nothing else then. And UKIP was the only party there that represented what we believe, because I knew Reform was charlatans. I knew what they were at. I knew Farage was a dodgy snake oil salesman, and Zia Yusuf exactly the same, and Tice. They're all the same, all cut from the same cloth. Didn't like them, didn't want anything to do with them. But now we've got Advance with Ben and Howard Cox and loads of other people that's coming on all the time. To me, it's David Rhodes. It is the only horse to back.
Here's the thing. I'll finish with this, Richard. Right, I've been a businessman ever since the day I left school.
Yeah,
I've loved business. I've enjoyed business as a hobby.
Yep.
And over those years, people often would come to me and say, "I've got a business idea. How about this? How about that?" And I would look at all these business plans and these business ideas, and unfortunately, the vast majority of them weren't viable.
Yeah.
I never ever have had the time to waste on losers is not the right word, but I've never had the time or the inclination to follow a lost cause. This is not a lost cause.
Exactly.
This is a cause that is worth fighting for. This is a cause that's worth joining, and this is a cause that we can win. But we can only win together, and we can only win if the army of people out there get their friends, get their neighbours. Let's get Ben up to his 30,000 members in double quick order.
Yep. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's got and that it's either that or that. It's either get advance into power or it's more of this nasty hotel police
This is
violence
not
coming
good
attack.
news. This
No,
is not good news.
this is what's going to happen more and more, Paul. You know, and it's just a fact. You know what happened last summer was, you know, the deep state panicked, but it wasn't even serious people getting involved in that last summer. It was very, very tame. Same in Ballymena a few weeks ago. It wasn't serious people getting involved. It was really just kids. So when
But
serious
you
people get
know,
involved,
when you see this, when this comes up on the screen now, again, I'm not trying to be clever, but let me
yeah,
tell you what's going to happen now.
yeah,
Everyone that went out on the streets tonight in Epping will be labelled as far right.
yep,
There will be a number of people. Nobody will get arrested tonight.
yep,
It'll all be on camera.
yep.
The police spotters will be there with their videos. And then come about Wednesday or Thursday, people's doors will start getting kicked in.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely right, absolutely right. You know, and I mean Ballymena, 23 remanded, 50 odd charged. You know, and that's from a town of maybe 30,000 people. It's going to be exactly the same in Epping. But
Yeah.
the thing is, Paul, I understand the anger, and I'm not going to condemn people for being angry anymore. I'm not going to do that because I understand it because I'm angry. We've got the thing
Richard,
is,
Richard, I think we need to be careful there.
yeah,
I'm not going to condemn people for being angry,
yeah,
but I will condemn people for setting fire police cars. It's not right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not right. That's not the way forward, Richard.
No, of course it's not. Of course it's not. But the point I'm making is, Paul, what we've got is people that don't see any way out. And that's why we've got to give them a way out. Do you understand what I mean? It's very easy.
That.
It's very easy to get into the politics of condemnation and just condemning everything.
Yeah.
But if you know, people are, I know how angry people are. And if you just condemn them for being angry, you know, you lose them. Right. So what I'm saying is
you can never condemn people for being angry, but we also must protect our people as well.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, and this actually, Tilly, you've just summed this up, and we are going to have to shoot off after this, after we close this comment down. The anger needs direction, and that's what we have been trying to do. And now finally, as the anger is just bubbling up into craziness, we now have the answer, and the answer is Advance UK.
Tilly's spot on. Let me say this, Tilly. I don't know how many people are there tonight in Epping, but there's probably 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
I wish every one of those people tonight had joined Advance UK.
A lot of them probably will have done, Paul. A lot of them probably have. You know, this is the thing. This is why you know, look, at the end of the day, when things blow up, they blow up, right? And there'll be a next day and there'll be next day, and then things calm down and somebody has to pick up the pieces, right? So I'm not going to get into condemning people. I'm not going to condemn people. But what I'm going to say is the way to win this is not through violence on the streets. That's the way to get noticed, but it's not the way to win it. The only way to win it is through politics, right? And even the IRA realized that. You know, it took them a long time and a lot of bodies in the ground. We don't have to make the same mistakes. And that's what when I first started doing this in 2017 from a Northern Ireland background, I says, we do not go down that road because I've seen where it leads. You're walking behind coffins and you're visiting people in prison. That's where it leads. It's as simple as that. And I don't want that for our people either, Paul. But what I am saying is I understand the absolute seething rage and anger.
Richard, we all do. We all understand that. Sorry, it's suddenly getting a bit dark here. We all understand that. I just don't want any more Lucy Conleys. I don't want any more Peter Lynches.
I don't either.
I don't want any more kids saying, "Where's Daddy?"
I know.
Or Daddy's in jail.
But the reality is, it's going to happen, Paul. That's the thing. It's going to happen. We can't do anything to stop it. That's the truth of the matter. You know, and you know, when you look at how quickly things blow up. I mean, when I was in Ballymena, it went from a peaceful march, and it was a perfectly peaceful march, to houses getting set on fire in an hour. That's the point. That's why it's so important to have a political voice, because people that do that don't think they've got a political voice. That's why they do it. You know, they've we could go into that.
That's the message. That's what I was saying a minute ago, Richard. They have got a political voice.
They have. Exactly.
It's called Advance UK.
Exactly. And this is why what we're doing is so important, right? So, guys, we're going to shoot off. You can all go and watch Epping. You can all get
Love
the popcorn out.
Love to everyone. Stay
Yeah,
safe. Have a
yeah.
great Friday. We'll
Bob,
see you
thanks
tomorrow
very
night.
much, Bob. Bless you, man.
God bless
Listen,
you, Bob.
guys. Yeah, see you all soon. And Paul, just hang on in the back office just for 2 seconds. We'll have a
Okay,
chat.
mate. All
Okay,
the
see you
best.
soon.
So,
See you
see you
guys.
later, everyone. God bless you all.